Hi and welcome to this reading. This reading has been sitting, I just heard sitting in the ethers. This reading has been sitting in my list of readings that I have been guided to do, but it's been sitting there for a couple of months because there's just so much information and I just haven't had the time to go and do bits of research. But as I was setting up for the readings this morning, my notebook popped open and it popped open on this particular reading, which is a sign for me that I don't need any more information. What I have is what I need, and anything else that I need will come through in the cards. So we are talking about an energy here, divine feminine energy here, that mirrors the energy of Mary Magdalene. A beautiful, beautiful divine feminine energy, that of somebody who, like a phoenix rising from the ashes, has weathered the storm, has pushed through against all odds. And a bit like Mary Magdalene was actually discarded, meaning that she wasn't given her true power, even in her recognition within the Bible. The Gospel of Mary was left out. So this might be things that you are feeling. Now, I'm just going to read through my notes, but first, if you are new to my channel, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. A bit about me first. I'm an intuitive tarot reader. I pick up on energy prior to a reading. All of my readings are timeless, so whenever you stumble across this reading, you are meant to find it. These readings are purely a guide for you. So take what resonates with you, leave the rest. Make sure that when you are making decisions after watching a reading, you actually go within. All of the decks that I use on my channel are my own designs because I'm also an illustrator. If you're called to any of those, the links to them can be found in the description box. Any movies, TV shows, songs that I mention will also be found in the description box. There might be more messages in there for you. One movie I will suggest you watch is Mary Magdalene. It's actually, and I can never pronounce his name, Joaquin Phoenix or Joaquin Phoenix and Rooney, I want to say Rooney O'Mara. And they're actually a couple in real life. Interesting. Okay, so when I did my pre-shuffle, I got the Lover's card. Very, very spiritual card. And if you look at the relationship between Jesus and Mary Magdalene, they were, I would say, in effect, the traditional, the original, the true meaning, if you want to use the term, of a soulmate connection, but the true meaning of a twin flame connection. They are two people connected to each other through God. It wasn't a sexual connection. It wasn't about, if you think about this particular couple, it wasn't about the pictures you post on social media. Their driving force was a connection to the divine. And maybe for you, because I'm talking about you here, I'm not talking about how you were connecting to somebody else, but for you here, if we're looking at what's happened or what happened to Mary in that particular story, it's about the things that she went through to get to that point where she was in spiritual alignment. Achievement. I'm aware that no aspiration surpasses the boundless power of love. So that was that connection between herself and the divine. First. Achievement first. So I'm just going to go through my notes. I got meet me in the madness. Mary Magdalene's journey was a solo journey. This is a solo journey that you have been on. Mary Magdalene, within the gospel, she had 7 demons that she had to overcome. 7 demons within. She, depending on what you watch, because I've also watched that series, The Chosen, and whether it was mental health or neurological, or there was things internally that she was battling. 7 of them. Meet me in the madness that was her life, that she had to pull from. She made a big change too. She changed religions. So a big change that you have made or you are making in your life. We are in the Pluto and Aquarius transit. That is revolutionary change. Aquarius, Pluto is transformation. And this particular transit happens every 250 years, Pluto. But it rolls through Aquarius for a 20-year period. Now, Aquarius is the rebel, and she did. She literally left her family. She left her family, her friends, everything that she knew, her religion, to get baptized and follow something that she was guided to do. A divine calling that she felt. Meet me in the madness. It was a solo journey that she was on. What else have I written? Change maker. She walked away from her family and her religion. I also got the song Beautiful Girl by In Excess. A desire to protect and cherish someone, and that's yourself. Now, I don't know why, because this I wrote months ago, but it's obviously got some significance. 1969, Neon Hitch from Reincarnation. I don't know what that means. Maybe it'll come out in the cards. Reincarnation is a rebirth. Aquarius is the rebel. Aquarius is doing something out of the ordinary. Aquarius is not following the normal format. It is the rule breaker, the change maker. It is, especially in this Pluto and Aquarius transit, doing something different. And I've got the Five of Swords in my mind. Now, the Five of Swords is Venus in Aquarius. And as I'm doing this reading, I've got a little 11-week-old puppy that's lying asleep underneath me, but he's obviously dreaming because his little tail keeps tapping on my shoe. It's about being playful and not being frightened because you are following your spiritual path. Now, in 591, Pope Gregory changed. This is awful. In 591, Pope Gregory changed Mary, the apostle of apostles, into a prostitute. She was Jesus' closest disciple. She received visions and teachings. The male disciples fled in fear, but she was the first witness, and she carried the most important message. Yet she was reduced to a symbol of sexual shame. Her name, Magdala, means watchtower. Isn't that beautiful? So think about that in your life. A watchtower is a single solitary energy, a bit like a lighthouse, pushed to the side, but given a specific job, given a specific task. A watchtower is a solid, stable energy, but pushed to the side. Just reading through my notes. Women are bridges between worlds. They deliver souls to the 3D plane, almost a welcome to Earth. Something very, very spiritual and specific about the journey that you are on in this lifetime, something that you are meant to deliver. Now, as I said, Mary received visions and teachings, information that you are meant to impart. And then I've written down the Hieros Gamos. I'm not really familiar with that word, but I obviously was watching things at the time. And as I watch things, I'm kind of guided to write them down. The Hieros Gamos, the marriage between the divine masculine and the divine feminine. Well, that is Jesus and Mary. I would also say the marriage between your divine feminine and your divine masculine. If we're going through an ascension, a role in this lifetime. And I want to say too, because in that particular relationship between Jesus and Mary, he was elevated and she was obviously shunned. A sign of the times, I want to say, because even when they were putting together the Bible, that was in, 300 years later, after Jesus and Mary, it was a bunch of men in Rome who actually put the Bible together, put the different Gospels together. Very masculine dominated society at the time, and obviously women didn't have voting rights or anything like that. So why would they put the gospel of a woman in there? Might be how you have felt in this lifetime. But this is a real rise of Phoenix rising from the ashes, because in this lifetime you are meant to be the bridge between two worlds, delivering souls to the 3D plane. Hieros Gamos, the marriage between the divine masculine and the divine feminine. You are meant to, women are the bridges between two worlds. Divine feminine, divine masculine energy, bringing that together, getting into internal alignment so that you can rise from the ashes. Mary has a connection to the Cathars, which were a group of people, I think that lived in the south of France. The carrier of secret gnosis. That's an inner knowing. Divine feminine energy rising in the collective. Protected by the Knights Templar, there were secrets in their language. Received visions and teachings. The Gospel of Mary. The other thing I've written down is the feminine return, the white buffalo calf woman. You might want to look further into that. Mary Magdalene is also aligned with dragon energy. Phoenix rising from the ashes, burning away those 7 demons within. She lived the fire. She now breathes the fire. How beautiful is that? Okay, let's get some cards. Let's find out what else. Achievement. I love that. I'm aware that no aspiration surpasses the boundless power of love. Burning out the old. She lived the fire. She now breathes the fire. You are the fire. Look at that. That just turned. Walking away. Walking away from everything that doesn't serve you in this lifetime so that you can become the fire. Get off the grid, hermit mode. Perhaps what you've been doing. Let me get another one, yeah. And past life. Wow. We've been talking about that, past life. What happened in a past life? And I want to say too, okay, you're not necessarily Mary Magdalene in a past life, because obviously there's one soul that was. But if you had a past life within that time period, then you would have been living through all of the things that held women in that time period back. And it was literally 2,000 years ago. And all the lives that you've lived, building your soul up, elevating your soul. I'm just going to check that I'm recording. All the things that have happened, elevating your soul to a point where in this lifetime, you can now rise. Let's get a Mother Mary energy, actually. Let's do that. Our Lady Slipper. Mary's beautiful steps. Our Lady Slipper is the name of that flower. You might want to look further into that flower. It's very Cinderella energy though. And when I think of a slipper, I think of, well, actually, you know what? You can think of a ruby slipper. The spiritual journey within the Wizard of Oz. But it's very Cinderella energy, a slipper. And a strawberry in flower and fruit. Okay, now I might do that actually. Let me just pull this deck, it's quite tall. This is my travel deck. Let's see, anything else wants to come out. Ooh, that's the Castello di Angelo. And my Italian's not great. The Castle of Angels. And that's in Rome, and that was built by Hadrian just after Jesus' passing. And he built it and he was a bit of a AWS. He built it to house his family when he eventually had one, but he was such an AWS that he never had one. Okay, you've been sacrificed. That is the Tower of London. And if we're looking at the Pluto and Aquarius transit, the Tower of London, I just heard Joan of Arc. The Tower of London, which was not a Pluto and Aquarius transit, was where Anne Boleyn had her head chopped off. Again, in that, and it was a Pluto and Aquarius transit. In and around the time of the Last Judgment painting was painted on the wall of the Sistine Chapel, but she was sacrificed. In a man's world, she was sacrificed. I'm going to leave that out. That's meant to be there. Pine cone, that's the pineal gland. A spiritual ascension that you are on. Okay, what else? Anything else? I'm going to leave that there for a second. I just want to know what that is. Okay. The image shows the detail of the facade of St. Mark's Basilica, Basilica di San Marco in Venice. So St. Mark celebrated Saturday the 25th of April 2026. The feast day commemorates the author of the Gospel of Mark. He's also considered the founder of the church in Africa and the first bishop of Alexandria. He is the patron saint of many professions, locations and causes, including lawyers, notaries, glassworkers and prisoners. He is also the patron saint of Venice, Italy and Egypt, and is invoked against impenitence and certain diseases. His symbol, a winged lion, is prominently associated with him and the city of Venice. That's interesting. A winged lion. That in itself is elevation. Okay, now we've got, this is Catholicism here, but this is Islam. That is, it's either Hagia Sophia. There's a pink and a blue mosque in Turkey, in Istanbul, and it's one of the two. I want to say it's the pink one. But it's a change. That's a change in, a change like Mary Magdalene, change from Judaism to Christianity. This is a change, Christianity to Islam. Some sort of change that you are making. We've got the tree on the bottom. Roots, changing your roots. Repotting of a plant. Potentially because where you've been, you can't grow anymore. Okay, let's get what angel is guiding you at the moment. Number 3, Sitiel, protection from harm. I'm going to get you some more information on that particular angel. That's the 3 of Wands, which is the sun in Aries. Soul guardian for those born 12:40 a.m. to 1 a.m. Moral guardian for those born the 22nd of March, the 2nd of June, the 13th of August, the 24th of October, and the 4th of January. The physical guardian for those born the 30th of March to the 3rd of April. And this particular angel loves truth. So I'm going to take this little one and move him out of the way. Move these along. Dragon energy. You're in dragon energy. Look at that. The tower. Fire. Dragon energy. The mother of dragons is giving me Game of Thrones, actually. Underestimated. Why do I want to do that? The Queen of Pentacles. You are standing in your power. That's so interesting. This is the energy around you, standing in your power. I'm actually going to use this little tiny deck. Now, let's have a look at what's happening in the 3D for you. The moon. That's beautiful. The moon is Pisces and Neptune energy. Pisces is about a spiritual journey that you're on. The North Node currently is in Pisces. It's there for 18 months. It started at the beginning of this year, 2025, and will run through into mid next year. And Neptune energy is going down to the bottom of the depths of the ocean. It's about clearing away and resurfacing. Phoenix rising from the ashes. So beautiful. And I want to find out, hang on, give me a second. It did. I knew it did. So Neptune moved into Aries on March 30th, 2025, but retrograded back into Pisces on October the 22nd, 2025. So it's in the last, I think it's in the anaretic degree of Pisces. It will then re-enter Aries on January 26th, 2026 and remain there until 2039. It marks the start of a new long-term cycle for Neptune in a different sign. So what happens is Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac. So it's almost like this new beginning that's coming, because Aries is the first, this new beginning that's coming for you, but it's coming to you because you have, what did I write down? You have lived the fire. She now breathes the fire. Because Pisces is about the spiritual lessons that you learn. So beautiful. The depths that you've gone to in order to rebirth yourself. And I've got the 7 of Wands on the bottom, which is the boundaries that you put up. The 9 of Cups. So beautiful. This is Jupiter. Jupiter in Pisces. You've got yourself into spiritual alignment. This is a lifetime where your blessings and your abundance come to you because of the spiritual journey that you've been on. A message from the man upstairs. Oh, the Five of Pentacles. But did you see? It tried to spin itself upside down. The Five of Pentacles is about being left out in the cold. But I want to say here, because we've had lots of Aquarius, right? And you might have heavy Aquarius in your chart, but this is underdog energy. It's like, you know what? If I am going to be pushed out, if the Gospel of Mary is going to be left out, if you are not going to, so the other apostles didn't, they were angry that Jesus would go to her first and talk to her first. Yet she was the one who through being ostracized, and if you can hear the tappy tappy of feet, that is Apollo, my Labradoodle. Through being shunned, she had to go within. There's something about the spiritual path that you are on that involves a rebirth because of what you've been through. I just heard it gave you your wings to fly. Really beautiful. Okay, the outcome. That is too many. Okay, so we've got the Two of Swords, which is the Moon in Libra. The Six of Wands, victory after a long battle. The Three of Swords, the pain and heartbreak that you've gone through. And the Six of Pentacles, a divine rebalance. First thing I heard was you had to be hidden, and then I heard hidden in plain sight. It's that underdog energy, but it's also... and you may have felt discarded, pushed to the side. You may have felt very alone in the journey that you have been on. But I almost want to say here that on a spiritual level, it was protective energy, divinely protective energy. And it was to allow for your growth, your internal growth. It was about you going within, you going into the dark and becoming your own light. Independently. Without anybody else. The Two of Wands. The plans that you now make going forward, it's because you've put in all the hard work yourself. Nobody else can say, oh, I had a part in that. You have laid the foundations of whatever it is that you have built on a spiritual level, on your spiritual journey. You've done that on your own. Okay, let's have a look. This Queen of Pentacles, you've done it on your own. Yeah, Queen of Pentacles, Queen of Swords. Holy moly. You are don't mess with me energy. Don't mess with me. The Five of Wands. The Queen of Swords is Uranus in Aquarius. The Trailblazer, don't mess with me. And the Five of Wands is Saturn and Leo. I can fight my own battles. I've done it on my own, and I'm not to be messed with. Okay, the Moon. The Ace of Pentacles, that's beautiful. That's a gift from God. A gift from God in the 3D. And the Two of Pentacles, which is Jupiter in Capricorn. A divine blessing that's coming to you because of the work that you've put in. Because I want to say here, if we're looking at this Mary Magdalene energy, past lifetime, this lifetime, and it's coming back into balance. And the Tower on the bottom. The Nine of Cups, this beautiful Jupiter in Pisces energy. 9. This year was the 999 portal. The last time that happened was 2016. Maybe a journey that you've been on. It was the 9th of September, 2025. Because 2025 adds up to a 9, 9, a 9, 9. Endings and beginnings. Very, very Mother Mary energy. If we look at Mary it's Virgo energy. Virgo is the Hermit card. The Hermit card is the spiritual journey in the tarot. But for me, Virgo, Mother Mary energy. She's the only female in astrology. She's the only female in the skies. Phoenix rising from the ashes. 9-9. Let's see. Ooh. And the 7 of Swords. So we've got Mars in Gemini here and the Moon in Aquarius. Swords are our mind, and I'm thinking about, you know, the 7 demons that Mary Magdalene had. You've mastered your mind. This is card of illusion. This is up late at night. But you've mastered it. We've got the 9 of Cups here. Jupiter in Pisces. You've mastered your mind on a spiritual level. And that's what's bringing in this abundance into the 3D. The 5 of Pentacles here. The message from God. The 6 of Cups. Something from your past is returning to you because you've mastered this. Your soul has mastered the spiritual lesson within it. And that is what's bringing in your abundance. Wow, the High Priestess. Look at you go. Highly, highly, highly spiritual. The High Priestess is the Moon. The Moon is divine feminine energy. Phoenix rising from the ashes. So beautiful. Okay, let's just get one here because we've got quite a few already there. Do you want to come out? 10 of Pentacles. Nice. That's abundance in the 3D. Wow, the 10 of Swords. This is beautiful. The 10 of Swords and the Justice card. The pain, hurt, heartbreak that you've been in, that you've mastered through the spiritual journey that you're on, justice is coming. The 8 of Wands. Mercury in Sagittarius. Sagittarius is the beginning of the universe. It's where the Big Bang happened. A Big Bang for you. The start of something new. Mercury, it's divine communication. Really, really beautiful. And that is also the card of divine timing. What else do I want to get for you? Let's get this one because when you think about Mary Magdalene, she had a whole heap of masculine energies around her, essentially suppressing any ability for her to impart any wisdom that she had into the collective. I'm going to take this hippo off this deck here. This is my Gwen deck. It's my grandmother energy here. Wise old sage energy here. Mary, Mary, quite contrary. How does your garden grow? That was a vase. That's a teapot. A silver teapot. Let me just sit with this for a minute. Okay, and on the bottom we've got a flight log. My grandfather was a navigator in World War II. And all of those destinations, they were flying backwards and forwards from Sydney to collect the prisoners of war, the Japanese prisoners, well, the Australian prisoners of war in the Japanese prison camps. And they were skin and bone. So this is about a journey that you've been on. And even from just a purely observational level, this was a vase. I just heard women should be seen and not heard. A teapot. These were my grandmother's things. A vase that sat in a cupboard with a glass front in her dining room. A teapot. And when you sit at a table and you're drinking tea with people, you are communicating. And then these 2 plates weren't actually used. They were more decorative. The 5 of Pentacles. And if we look at Mary Magdalene, she was the companion of Jesus. She didn't have a value. Undervalued. I'm going to get a moon energy and then I'm going to get 3 final cards. Beautiful. New moon in Virgo. That's Mary energy. New moon in Virgo, nudging us to spread kindness and generosity instead of being cosmic hoarders. There's information that you have to impart in this lifetime. And it's about the fire that you've gone through. It's about the things that have happened to you. I'm sitting here and I'm looking at a picture of my grandmother. Now, she had 5 children, 2 of whom passed away. Some pretty horrendous things had happened to her in her lifetime, but it was never really spoken about. So we never really got to know the true essence of who she was in regards to the things that she had battled. She would have been 100 this year. She was born in 1925. And it's only now, since she's passed away, that I'm actually delving into those things. And I wish now that I had have known that, because I actually think that you connect with people, cups of tea, you connect with people and you are inspired by people by learning about the things that they have overcome. Strawberries in flower and fruit. It's not just about the good things. It's about the planting of the seeds and, you know, the growing of that seed, the journey, the spiritual journey that they've been on. And more specifically, the hardships that they've been through. The hardships of picking these people up from the prisoner of war camps. And that's what you're meant to impart. There's something about the journey that you've been on that will be inspiration, that will be healing, that will be transformative to others. Live the fire, she now breathes the fire. Women are bridges between worlds. You're part of the ascension, the elevation process for other souls. The delivery of souls to the 3D plane. It's this transition between where we are now collectively and where we are headed. Heros Gamos, the marriage between the divine feminine and the divine masculine. There's something about your journey and the reuniting of your divine feminine and divine masculine energy that will be healing and transformative to others. Let's get just 3 final cards. Anything else your guides want to tell you? The Knight of Wands, that's fire energy. Mars in Sagittarius. And look, if you look at that card, it's a bringing together. The Ten of Pentacles. That tried to come out before. The Ten of Pentacles. 3D energy. And the Four of Pentacles. That's the Sun in Capricorn. Mercury in Virgo. Communicating to people about the spiritual journey that you've been on. The Sun in Capricorn, the Ace of Pentacles, and we've got the Page of Swords, which is the Sun in Gemini, showing people, illuminating people to the choices, to the spiritual choices that they can make in their life to make big changes in their life. You're an inspiration. The journey that you've been on is an inspiration, or will be an inspiration to others. And the Seven of Cups. You've been brought here in this lifetime to dispel the illusion. That card is Venus in Pisces. To pour spiritual love into yourself, even if it means standing on your own, even if it means being ostracized. Because in the long term, the Ace of Pentacles, the Ten of Pentacles, it's solid and stable. And what you will actually reap from it is spiritual abundance from the divine. What wants to come out there? 3 of Wands. New horizons, the journey. Okay, finally, I'm going to get some Scrabble tiles. Letters and numbers in here. It does make a little bit of noise when I shake it. If you've got hearing sensitivity, just turn your volume down. I'm going to shake it in 3, 2, 1. You got stuck. You might be feeling stuck. E and a 1, an R and a 1. You are the emergency room for others. A C and a 3. A Z and a 10. An A and a 1, an M and a 3. An X and an 8. A G and a 2. An S and a 1. an I signal. A G and a 2, an I and a 1, signal. What if I get an L? An N and a 1, an A and a 1, an F and a 4. A sign from above. Maybe you do it through music. You are meant to fix other people, help to heal other people. Pause the video, see if you can make out any other words. That is what I've got for you. Thank you so much for joining me. I wish you all the best on this journey. Well done to you for facing the fire and coming out the other side. I'm just being called. I'm going to get you one more card from here. Anything else? Yeah, that's about our intuition, the shell. It's time to come out of your shell. I just said you've got a job to do. You have a divine calling. And on the bottom, we've got the key and the feather. And this card has been coming out so frequently. In ancient Egypt, when they were buried, the priest took out the heart of the person. And the philosophy is that if their heart weighed less than a feather, then they would be carried to the afterlife. It was the key that opened the door. You are the key that opens the door. Because we have the 9 of Swords here, lifting the burdens off the hearts of people, lifting the burdens off the hearts of people through spilling the tea on what you've been through by inspiring other people. That's what I've got for you. Thanks so much for joining me for this reading. Really beautiful reading. Well done to you. All the best on your journey. If it resonated with you, please give it a like. If you haven't already, please subscribe. If you are called to any of my tarot or oracle decks, the links to those can be found in the description box. Thanks again, and I'll see you in another reading.